Can we ever imagine what it would be like for the Iranians to have nuclear bombs at their fingertips? Are we going to play ignorant? Are we going to be naive? How much longer can we be empathetic and complacent, thinking, it's not going to happen? If we don't learn from history, history will repeat itself. We have been told that Iran is so close to developing a nuclear bomb. What is the world doing about it? Where is the mass hysteria? Do we not think for a second what they're planning to use a nuclear bomb for? And it's not only the nuclear bombs that we're worried about, it's the chemical bombs that they have. They have sworn to annihilate Israel and America. And are we just going to listen to the rhetoric and just think those are empty words? Reality is, it's getting very, very close. Listen to this interview and draw your own conclusions. At what point do we realize that this is the new reality that we're dealing with and what we can do about it?
The United States believes that Iran is days away from nuclear capability. Let me say that again. Days away. That should strike fear into the hearts and minds of every single person in the world. This is utterly terrifying. Are we taking this seriously enough? It doesn't appear so. What's going on behind the scenes that we may not know about? So many questions, and here to give us some answers, former IDF spokesperson, Jonathan Conricus. I want to start by asking your reaction to that news regarding Iran and its nuclear capability. Is that surprising to you? Is that quicker than you might have thought?
Unfortunately, it isn't surprising. And I think that the Iranian regime has been on the path of achieving nuclear military capabilities for a long, long time. And I won't be able to vouch for the specific accuracy. And there's also a bit of conflicting reports within the US system. Some intel officials claim otherwise. But the bottom line for me is very clear. The Iranian regime is on its way to achieving nuclear military capabilities. The world has been trying to use diplomacy and negotiations and sanctions for the better part of around 15 years. Yet here we are. We have a fundamentalist, crazy regime that is very close to achieving nuclear military capabilities, and that will change the balance of security and the political balance in the Middle East and probably in the world. And that's something that needs to be prevented by any means necessary.
We've just come off the back of 4 years of complete lack of action in any way, shape or form under the Biden administration when it came to Iran. He was asked, are you worried? He said, they know not to do anything. A week later, they kill US troops. We've now got an administration who is actually backing up what they are saying. They're attacking the Houthis at the moment. A lot of chatter out there that the US has its eyes on Iran to do something practically, physically. What's your read on that?
So the way I see it is that there are negotiations, there's signaling, there's communications, US president, the Iranians, Israel, and everybody are still posturing and indicating to the other side their ability to take military action. The Iranians have been exposing new missile bases and they've been touting new capabilities that they developed, whether it's drones or missiles or naval capabilities. And you can see a steady drip of those messages and announcements by the Iranians. The point of that is that they're signaling that if you try to attack us militarily, we'll be able to retaliate and we have the ability to destabilize the Middle East. But Israel is ready, has the capabilities, has proven twice already that it can penetrate Iranian air defenses and it can deliver ordnance wherever it needs to do so in Iran. And the US has been moving assets and capabilities closer to the theater of operations in the Middle East, and also indicating that if negotiations don't go well as President Trump wants, then there is a willingness and a military capability to use the military option. Bottom line of all that, we're still in the negotiation stage, and I think that President Trump is using Israel as the stick in this equation, telling the Iranians that if you don't go ahead and come to the table and agree to disarm completely of your nuclear capabilities and agree to immediate, full, comprehensive inspections of each and every facility that is related to nuclear matters in Iran, then the other option is the Israelis, and the Israelis are ready to go.
So, Jonathan, we're talking about the potential nuclear capability of a place like Iran. Why doesn't Israel have nuclear capability?
Well, Israel has a policy of ambiguity on that matter, which is quite a few years old, and it's designed to keep Israel's enemies guessing about Israeli strength and military capabilities. I think most of our enemies assess that Israel has nuclear capabilities, and I think that they understand that if Israel is brought within an existential threat, Israel would be able to use those capabilities. Reportedly, and I think our enemies understand, Israel also has the ability to what's referred to as second strike, even if, God forbid, Israel should be attacked by nuclear weapons and suffer a tremendous blow, then Israel still has the tools available to retaliate against whoever fired at Israel. Whether that's true or not, I can't say, but I can say that I believe that is what our enemies understand. And I think that what's important here is that we in the world, I think the global interest should be to prevent further the development of an additional arms race in the Middle East. The Saudis and the Egyptians and the Turks have already indicated that if Iran goes nuclear, they would desperately want military nuclear capabilities as well, because they understand that there's madmen with their finger on the bottom, and that they cannot tolerate that, and I can understand. And that's a very bad situation because the more countries that have these capabilities, the worse. As such, I think that is one of the main reasons why it should be prevented. And the best way of dealing with the problem is usually preventing it from becoming reality and not dealing with it once it becomes reality.
So what you're saying, Jonathan, is that Israel does have nuclear capabilities.
What I'm saying is that our enemies believe that Israel has nuclear capabilities. I think that's a good belief for them to have. And I think that Israel has proven over the years that it is absolutely has a no-nonsense policy when it comes to defending the state of Israel. Israel has a history of doing what is right and what is necessary for its security. And Israel will do whatever it takes to defend itself.